Welcome to a brand new episode of Unblocking Your Purpose. I am your host, your friend, your girl, Jada. Welcome to February. We have made it. So if you are new, welcome. I am so glad that you're here. Hopefully, you will pick up something that will help you along your way. And for those of you who continue to rock with me, thank you as always. So last week, if you haven't had a chance to listen, go back and do so. But last week we talked about what it means and how it feels and how it looks when we are spiritually willing to do what God asks of us, but we're just physically exhausted. And how that exhaustion does not mean that we are failing. We just probably need to delegate some things out to people, ask other people for help, learn to say no, just have those boundaries, right? So it doesn't mean that we aren't willing to do what he has called us to do, but sometimes we're just not capable. So this week, I kind of wanted to shift that a little bit and talk about how it feels, what we should be doing when success, the way that we envision, maybe even the way that we prayed and planned, does not actually look like that, right? Because if you're like me, I will never ask you to raise your hand, but if you are watching me on the YouTube channel, I am raising my hand. Very type A, very much like, this is what I want to do. Here's the plan. Being in the military, we would backwards plan. So I kind of had a roadmap, if you will, of how to accomplish things. And so, yeah, I would have these great ideas, these great plans. This is what I'm going to do, and go hard charging after it. And there have been moments in my life where I'm like, either it didn't come to fruition, or what I actually have does not look like what I thought it was going to look like. And in those instances, makes me feel like, oh gosh, I've messed up something, I've failed, I'm not good at this, I wasn't supposed to do this, I've made a mistake, like all of those negative things that come up. So how do we really take a look at, especially if you're like me, we're mid 40s now, um, answered prayers, right? So I have been married for 13 years. I have three babies that I wanted to have, two girls and a boy, and so some of the things did come to fruition. I've had a career, I've had a couple of careers, and I have the things, or I have a lot of things that I prayed for, and I am blessed to have that, right? So, not like over here gloating. I'm just saying, yes, I have had answered prayers, but I've also had moments in my life where I'm like, is this really what I asked for? Is this really what it's supposed to be? Is this it? How many of you feel like that? Like, okay, I have the things, but is this it? Is the be all end all? And a lot of us, if you've been tracking with me, throughout life, it's like, okay, yes, I may have all of these titles, but who am I? Is this the rest of my life? Is this all I have to deal with and not that we're ungrateful, but we're just like, is this it? So when that picture, what we have, does not look like what we envisioned in our mind's eye, where are we at and how are we feeling? And that's what I wanted to touch on today. So we will start with the Bible verse, and I love this one. It's coming out of Proverbs 16:9, which I'm sure a lot of you know this one, right? It's out of the New Living Translation, and it says, "We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps." So, again, if you're like me, your head gets it. We're not slow, we're not smart, right? We understand it, we get it, we can wrap our heads around it, but sometimes that doesn't align with our hearts because our heart wants what it wants. We just want things to go the way that especially if we've planned them. Now, there are some of you amazing women who are just like, I can go with the flow, I can do it, I can deal with whatever comes my way. But for those of us that are like, no, I want this by this age and this by this time, and I have to, map it all out, and it doesn't end up like that, we are the ones that are probably like, this isn't right, what am I doing? I'm such a failure. But we have to understand that, yes, we can make all the plans. And guess what? I'm still going to make plans after this. Like, so don't take this as like, oh, Don't go make a plan. Don't have dreams, wants, desires, all those things. I'm not saying not to have that. I'm going to continue to have that. But I think what we have to grasp is we can make the plans, but he's going to order the steps. So then it falls back on us. Are we then willing to walk in those ordered steps? Goes back to some of the episodes so far this season. Are we going to him and asking and seeking clarity of like what it is we're supposed to be doing? Because a lot of times we may think this is what we want, this is what we deserve, this is what we should have, and if it's not in alignment with what he has for us, then it's not going to come to fruition. So then what? Are we still frustrated? Now are we mad at him? Now, like, what do we do with those feelings and those emotions? Versus, okay, yes, Lord, this is what I would love to have. And we can't move him. I was just talking about this with my therapist. We will try to do things thinking that we can move God, and we can't, and we shouldn't, right? And I heard someone on social media, and they were like, you know, praying and praying and praying, like the same prayer over and over and over. And someone was like, well, if you're a believer and you prayed, shouldn't you be believing that it's going to come to pass? And, we think that just because we're asking for it over and over and over, just because we take it to him, that it's automatically going to come to fruition. And it may not be the case. And I was sharing with a friend, a couple of friends, that I was listening to Sarah Jakes Roberts, and she was preaching, and she was saying, sometimes we are praying for things and it doesn't come to pass, and then we're feeling what we're feeling. And so she was like, maybe we should be praying, if that's not in his will, to remove that want, that desire from us. And I know that's hard, right? Because it's like, no, this is what I want. And if it's a desire in my heart, then he gave it to me, right? And it may not be the case. So sometimes I think we have to take a deep breath, take a pause, take a beat, and then go to him and say, hey, I really desire this. But if this is not in your will, then please remove that desire from me. If it is, give me a sign. And we talked about this, right? Make it as clear as the nose on my face. Just make it so clear that I know I'm walking in the way to eventually receive this. But sometimes we just get so caught up in what we want, and then we'll do things thinking like, okay, if I do these things, then it will come to pass. And we have to remember, it's not our works. Yes, we have to work, but it's not our works that are going to make things happen. It's through him, by him, with him, that things come to pass, right? So, yeah, let's have our plans. Let's go to him. Let's ask if this is what he wants us to do. And then in those ordered steps that he has for us, let's walk out in faith in that. All right. So, I think as we are looking at this, right, and we may say, oh, well, I desire this. And maybe we need to say, why are we wanting that? Why is that an ask? Why is that a want? Are we trying to keep up with social media? Are we trying to keep up with friends? Are we trying to keep up with family? I've discussed before, my parents, they had certain things they wanted for me. And then I had to say, well, what is it that I want? So are you still, as we said before, are you still going through um, life through obligations versus obedience? And when I mean obedience, I'm saying to him, not to your own prison you've created or someone else has created or social media and society is trying to create. Are you being obedient to him? Right? So if you're sitting up here comparing yourself to what someone else has, or trying to live up to expectations of somebody else, then we have to realize, like, let go of what does not belong to you. And again, maybe in this season, maybe forever, you need to ask for that. Ask for that wisdom. Do I need this? Why am I holding on to this? Because that, if you're holding on to it and you're not achieving it, maybe because you don't want to, maybe your subconscious is like, nope, I'm protecting you. We're not doing this. Your heart's not in it, but you're still trying to make it work. But then you're frustrated and you're upset and you feel like a failure, and then all the negative things, and then Satan gets a foothold up in there, and then everything is bad, right? So I think we have to get the understanding, get the wisdom, and then we have to learn, like, we have to let that go. Another thing, okay, I got to be married by 30 and have kids by 35, and, all of these things that we put all of this I don't know, we're self-inflicting, right? Like self-inflicting these things, the timelines and the standard and all of these things that maybe we need to just let that go and flow and be in freedom to be able to really accomplish the real true desires that he has placed in you. So we have to learn to let go, right? We have to learn, like, hey, maybe this wasn't the time for this. Maybe the time is going to come. Maybe it's never going to come, and have to be okay with all or any of that. All right. And I'm saying that to you too. Think of that. Ask yourself, like, what do I need to let go that is possibly really holding you back from where you should be and want to be? Right. And we definitely have to quit comparing. Surround yourself with people. I have a community. We're on Facebook. We are engaging and helping each other. Surround yourself with people that are going to build you up. Surround yourself with people who are going to be like, yeah, I see that, but how about you do this, right? They're coming and helping you and not tearing you down, but helping you to be better. We don't need to be in these comparison bubbles, because at the end of the day, he gave you this one life and he made you perfect and whole, and he wants you to succeed. And so quit comparing to other people. Like, maybe get some inspiration, but run your race, sis. Run your race. Okay. Um, Also, what do you do when you planned, you started taking action, and it does not end up the way you want? What do you do with that? I would challenge you, and I would suggest that you take a moment to grieve what you thought could have been, right? So maybe in that, asking him, is this really what? Okay, if it's not, then please remove it. During that time, you may have to take a moment and grieve what you wanted to have happen, because it just may not be in alignment with what he has for you. And I'm not saying that this is an easy process, right? But for you to grow and continue to live this life, and as we know, we can have heaven here on earth, but we get to choose that, right? So if we're so focused on what didn't go right versus taking a moment to grieve that it didn't go the way we thought we wanted it to, and then become open to what he has for us, I'm pretty sure it's going to turn out better than what you thought. Not that it makes it go away, not that it's less sad that you didn't get what you thought you wanted, but he will give you peace, and his peace is greater than anything, right? And he will help and heal you and help you to get to where he knows you'll flourish and do better. Okay. But yeah, we have to grieve those unmet expectations when it does not turn out the way that we thought, planned, hoped, wished, all that. And know that, yes, it is a loss, and treat it as such. We grieve it, we remember it, maybe hold on to some things from it, the good things. Like, maybe it did strengthen a muscle for you to go through those things, even though it did not end up in the ultimate way that you wanted it to. But it doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that that wasn't what was needed. And there's something greater waiting on you. Okay. And we also need to think about, you know, success as faithfulness. When we are doing the things that he's called us to do, right? When we are walking in those ordered steps, when we are on the path that he has laid out for us, there is success in that, because he's going to give you all the tools you need. He's going to set you up with the people you need to be with. It's going to work because he has a way of making it all come together. And that's going to be success for you, success for me, right? So it's not necessarily the outcome. So again, as you're going through and you're learning things and you're trying to figure things out, and even if it doesn't come out to that outcome you wanted, it doesn't mean that you're not successful, because he's bringing you through things for a reason. And so take some solace in that. Like, take a beat and be like, okay, God, you know more than me, right? Another verse, Isaiah 55, 8 through 9, New Living Translation. My thoughts are nothing like your thoughts, says the Lord. And my ways are far beyond anything you could imagine. For just as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways. So my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. He knows what is best for us. And so if we're going in those steps and we are trusting in Him, we're going to be successful. Again, it's going to hurt when it doesn't work out the way we want, but it doesn't mean that you're not successful. It doesn't mean that you have failed. You do the work, you take the steps, you have faith, you trust. You surround yourself with people who are there when we're having high highs and low lows that help you here to get through it. And you always turn to Him and ask, what's the next step? Hey, remove this. If it's not going to help me, remove it. So yes, trying to redefine what success looks like when we don't have the outcomes that we planned. It's going to be work to do that, because there are going to be so many things that pop up. You might have a friend or family member that has what you thought you should have had. Like, Satan is crafty like that. He'll put things in there for you to, he'll be like, haha, see, you didn't do it, but they got it. We know this. So in knowing, we should know how to react and know that, you know what, we still serve someone better than and greater than him or anybody, including us. And he has what is in our best interest. So as you're thinking through things that may not have gone the way you wanted them to, I just challenge you to know that you didn't fail and to just look at it and be like, okay, what did I learn from that? What can I take and continue to implement in my life? God, what was the point of that? And I think that's a big thing when it doesn't turn out the way we want. We're like, why? I did all the things. Why? Blah, 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 right? We just need to know. And it's hard. And it's hard for me when I'm like, I don't understand it. Because my husband would say, you don't have to understand everything. And I'm like, yes, I do. But sometimes there may not be an answer. So then that's when we just have to ask Him to mend our broken heart as we continue to move forward. So, as we get ready to wrap this up, I have a couple of questions for you to think about over this next week. Number one, what might God be redefining for me in this season? Sometimes when we're so stuck on what we didn't get and trying to figure out why we didn't get it and how we can do something to get it, what has He possibly got in the works? Maybe we change that focus and move that energy over there and ask Him, what do you have for me? What am I missing because I'm so focused over here? Take those blinders off my eyes and just show me where you need me to be, what you have for me, because He may be working something in this season. And number two, what needs to be released so that I can move forward with peace? Again, going back to what she said, praying for it to be released. What is it that you need so that you can get over this obstacle and keep moving in the steps He has for you? That is my challenge for you. Thank you so much for being here. Continue to share it. Continue to come into the group. It is growing. I'm excited about that. And until next time, know that I love you. I mean it. I am so excited. I am here to help you. Remember, I'm here to coach if you need someone to just walk you through some things, help you to unblock some things that may be stopping your growth, or maybe you're not quite sure next steps. I am here. I can help you with that. And here to serve. So thank you for listening, and I will see you next week. Bye.